Hey everyone, I'm finally back with another deck introduction. Been dealing with being sick and some other distractions, so I apologize for the delay. I'm going to try to do this one. Even though my arthritis is kicking up, I can get through this, because at least it's healing crystals. I'm doing this one today because I feel like I should balance out tarot and oracle, though I have more tarot. So this one's a pretty decent sized deck, as you can see from the size of my hand. Eternal Crystals by Jade Sky. Nice little booklet that came with it. Has all that information. They're all in alphabetical order. And since there's nice pictures, you can actually use that to meditate on the image if you don't have the crystal itself. So if any of you need to meditate on a crystal, just pause, take a screenshot, download the video if you can, or just watch it again and take advantage of the energy through the cards. I do also use this to recommend crystals for people to pick up, and whatever's drawn is something you need. I can also do like intuitive channeling on different things that are related to that crystal. I'm not going to take the time to read from the book. When I do a reading using the cards, I will read from the book, and I would also give my interpretation. But in the interest of time, I'm just going to introduce it and add a little something about the crystals that come up, if I have one or if I've had experience with them. So, the first one, Amethyst, Intuition, third eye chakra. I'm going to be doing packets for sleep that have lavender, real lavender, and amethyst chips. So that's coming up soon. If you want to order that, just get in contact with me. So yeah, amethyst is the first one. It's a good one to start with. Next one, Angelite, angels, throat and crown chakra. And it's not as easy to find. Amethyst you can find everywhere, obviously. But Angelite's a little harder to find. It's not that expensive when you do, but you might have a harder time finding it. Apophyllite. This also kind of connects with angels. It says connect third eye and crown chakra. So you can get visions and images from your spirit guides. Aquamarine is next. Courage, throat chakra. Also really good for third eye. I know a lot of Pisces that really enjoy this card, especially my mentor. So it's a very nice, soothing energy, actually. Next is green aventurine, and aventurine comes in other colors too. The way to tell aventurine is kind of glittery a little bit. It's mostly translucent, but depending on how big it is, it might look opaque, but there's definitely like little sparkly bits in it. So that's how you can tell it's green aventurine versus another sort of green stone. Blue jay just flew up on the gutter. I don't know what he's up to. Okay, so new opportunities, and obviously heart chakra, as any green would resonate with. Blue lace agate, communication, throat chakra. And it's basically just a stone it's all blue and different shades of blue. Really pretty. Kind of looks like denim. Reminds me of denim a lot. but it's really, really good for clear and honest communication. Next is Bloodstone. Some say that it comes from the blood of Jesus Christ falling on the stone, if you believe in that. It's very, very good for detoxing, so addictions and that kind of stuff. It handles the root, heart, and sacral chakras. Obviously, the heart comes from the green. The root and the sacral would be the blood part. Obviously, it's not real blood. It's like a jasper, I believe. I believe it's red jasper that is mixed in. And you can get it where there's very little red or there's a lot of red. And it varies quite a bit. So pick one out that really resonates with you and balances the energies the way you need it. Calcite is another one that comes in so many colors. This one is like the basic white. If you get it even in the raw form, it kind of feels like it has a finish on it, like not waxy, but it looks like someone sealed it off. It's kind of weird. Like it almost feels fake. But you can get yellow, blue, green. There's different shades you can pick up that are really great for different things. But this one would be handling all, kind of like the way clear quartz can be substituted for anything. This one too, but it's more of a soothing energy. It says calmness in all chakras, obviously. Okay, so gather these up, kind of mix them up so it makes it easier to shuffle next time. It's already mixed up a bit. Carnelian, one of my favorites. I love it. Self-confidence, root and sacral chakras, because it's a reddish orange. Really, really good to bring up creativity too. So any sort of thing where you need grounded and feeling creative, Carnelian is excellent for that. And its color can vary a little bit. It's also translucent. Seraphinite, travel, root and crown chakras. So it kind of looks a little bit like Selenite, but it has other colors in it. This is a little bit harder to find, but it is a very, very nice crystal. Very useful, not just for physical third dimension travel, but astral travel as well. Chiastolite is the one that has like the cross built into it. So you can also find it under names that reflect that. It's for past loved ones and the root chakra. So if you know someone that is more of a Christian, but you want to get them into, like, open to crystal energy, this would be a good one. It also connects you with your spirit guides. It's a very spiritual one, even though it says root chakra. It grounds you and brings the spirit world into this reality. Cinnabar. This one is potentially toxic. You have to be careful with it. Not to be confused with cinnamon, so no munching on this one. It's good for business, it says, but I find that it's not just that. It has a very, very fiery energy, so creativity, sacral chakra. But again, be careful handling it if it is not a polished stone, because it's potentially toxic. That means, like, wash your hands after you use it. Don't eat it. May not be a good idea to carry it directly touching your skin because our skin does absorb things. Don't use them in the bath, that kind of stuff, okay? Citrine. Okay, so this is basically a yellow amethyst. You can get ametrine, which is amethyst and citrine. And forgot to mention, amethyst will fade in the sunlight, and so will citrine. Citrine will fade faster. So if you're going to charge it up, use moonlight, sea salt, sage, that kind of stuff. Try not to put it out in bright sunlight. It'll still have the power, but you won't get the color anymore because that'll fade. So this is for abundance, creativity, solar plexus chakra, like anything that would be a Yellowstone solar plexus. But citrine's pretty bright, like you think citrus flavor. It's a bright, happy kind of thing. So amethyst is more like a soothing. So if you do like an ametrine, it would be soothing, but yet, you know, keep you positive and very, it's very bright and uplifting. Clear quartz. As I mentioned earlier, this could be substituted for any other stone because it carries the vibrations of everything. There can be inclusions in this. Depending on what kind of inclusions are in it, it changes the vibration a little bit. So there could be like tourmalated, it's got black tourmaline. You can have streaks of different things that change the energy of the stone a little bit, more focus to it. Especially with this one, the structures that are formed will have different tones of energy, I guess you could call it. So there's some, like there's certain clusters will be one way, double terminated is another way, one that's like a tower or a wand is going to have energy going one direction, while double terminated goes both. Clusters that set it out in multiple directions. There's ones that record things, and it looks like a little library because of the little cracks and streaks in it. And that's for Akashic Records. There's inclusions that look like angels or ghosts or birds or other, almost anything you can imagine can be an inclusion in this. There could be bubbles of water, oil, different things where if you shake it, you can see the air moving back and forth. It's kind of funny. But clear quartz comes in so many different forms. You can find a specific one with specific energy depending on inclusions and little features of it. There's also the twin stones that are two terminated ones. They're stuck together and you can't really split them apart. There's some where there's a small one riding on a bigger one. That's like a teacher-student kind of a thing. Mother-child kind of thing. So yeah, clear quartz has a lot of different uses, a lot of different manifestations of it. Okay, so next is dioptase. And I have some that doesn't quite look like this. It does vary a little bit. Kind of a teal sort of a color sometimes. It can be more of a green. You know, inclusions and different minerals will change the tone of the green, obviously. It says direction, so life path, direction, following your heart chakra. Like if you need guidance, and it's not that easy to find, but it's not expensive. Fluorite is another one that comes in many colors. it can go from a very pale green to teal. There's blue. Blue is very rare. To something that looks more like an amethyst. You can tell from the structure of the molecules, though, that it's not. It could even be extremely, extremely dark purple. But there's quite a bit of variety. Most of them are going to be purple and green mixed. It also glows differently under black light, which is pretty cool. But this is like everything heart, throat, third eye, crown chakra, basically. Even though it says third eye, it could be anywhere from heart up, depending on the color. And it comes for spirit guides and all that. So fluorite's one of my favorites. I have quite a bit of fluorite and different varieties of color and the patterns and stuff that come with the variety. Fuchsite. That's a very weird thing. It's like a form of mica, and mica is like a kind of a flaky, iridescent stone, and it's flexible. Mica is the thing that they used to make fireplace glass out of. It wasn't actually glass, it was that. You can find different forms of it, like Lapita White is a type of mica. But this is also a type of mica. It kind of flakes. When it breaks, it'll flake. It bends a little bit. I wouldn't recommend, playing with it like that, though. But very soft, flexible, delicate, very delicate. It will chip and flake very easily, even if it's polished. But you want to be gentle with this. And it'd be good for heart chakra healing. It's really pretty. This really doesn't show. I mean, iridescent, like, you turn it and it kind of sparkles, kind of looks pearly. It's really an awesome, beautiful stone. Not that easy to find, but it kind of looks a little bit like Amazonite, only it's opaque. It's really, really beautiful. If you do find a piece of that, it's a wonderful, wonderful stone. Garnet, the Capricorn or January stone. This one's a little more red than most of them. Depending on if it's cut to be a gem or if it's more rough or just a chunk that's polished. It can look anywhere from this bright red to like a deep dark burgundy, almost a black. Raw garnet is really nice. You don't have to get like a cabochon or a gemstone form of it. Garnet's pretty common. It says commitment, heart and sacral chakras. Can't talk today. But yeah, it's very, very good. Like, commitment to self a lot. Loyalty, the good things about Capricorn. It's not very fiery energy, even though it looks like it might be. It's more of a grounding, like a deep rooted, subtle form of energy. At least for me. Hematite. This will rust if you get it wet. Some of it is magnetized, some of it is not. In the raw form, it's pretty ugly, basic looking, like a brown, black kind of thing. When you polish it, it turns kind of like silvery, and it's real pretty. Very heavy feeling. It's more dense than most. Mental strength, yeah, okay. keeps you grounded if you are in chaotic situations. It helps a lot. Very protective too. It'll reflect back any negative energy. But I would definitely recommend getting more of a polished one for protection than using the raw. The raw you can just use for grounding. But hematite is really easy to come by. Iolite, very hard to come by. I believe the last time I saw it was in Massachusetts. I got a piece of it. It's kind of a purpley, kind of a blue. Really, really pretty. You have to shine the light on it to really see the color. It can look kind of dark. It says family and third eye chakra. And really, because of the variation in color, it can be anywhere from like third eye to throat area. It's not necessarily 3D genetic family, but soul family and spirit guides. And I find it's really, really, really good to open up to read your Akashic records and find soul family. Next is jade. And jade is also a stone that comes in different colors. It's good luck, abundance, also good for the heart chakra. Jade can be very protective, but definitely, you know, the good luck vibes and trying to manifest abundance, so that you can pursue your heart's desire too. But you can get jade in different forms. I believe yellow and orange too. I've gotten different pieces of jade from different areas. It could be dark green, could be light green, can be different streaks of green, but it's real pretty. It's a wonderful stone to have. Kunzite's a little harder to find. Kind of like an amethysty kind of color, sometimes pinkish, a little bit of citrine type shade of yellow in some. I find there's a little bit more variety. It's kind of a subtle thing. It says children, third eye and heart chakra. And so yeah, the purpley, and I guess it would be kind of like a light green or yellowish in certain parts of it. It's a little harder to find, but if you do, it's really nice, soothing energy. Labradorite. Also, what's called rainbow moonstone is actually technically labradorite. It's like a white version. It has this thing called chatoyancy, which is like the cat's eye, where it reflects light in different ways, which you can't see because this is not an actual piece of labradorite. But if you shift it in the light, it'll reflect different colors back at you. And it's really, really beautiful. Depends on how polished it is and the balance of the minerals in it. But it can have like oranges, yellows, greens, blues, any number of different shades in between. It just depends. Some of it leans more toward the blue-green. It just depends on what you get, but it's actually pretty common and easy to find. But the nicer, more polished and colorful pieces definitely cost a little bit more. But you can get, the raw is not as flashy. And I find it actually has even better energy for creativity. And it also says psychic ability, obviously. Yeah, it's going to do that. But it's also very protective. I've had a lot of luck having it be a protective stone. Lapis lazuli. That is basically sodalite with pyrite in it. It's the blue stone with gold flecks in it. It's kind of like an indigo color. I believe they use this as eyeshadow in Egypt. But it's really, really pretty stone. It can be expensive because of the gold flecks. It says problems resolved, which, not always. Not that specific manifestation. But it's very, 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 very powerful. Not an overwhelming energy, but it'll really help. Third eye and throat chakras, it says. So it's really, really good for psychics, for readers, that kind of thing. Not necessarily something you want to like put in your bag for sleeping, but if you want to get prophetic dreams and that kind of stuff, it'll definitely deliver. So, Larimar, also a very rare stone. It kind of looks like blue lace agate shade. It's kind of a sky blue or like real clear ocean, but mostly opaque. It says water and ocean, throat chakra, obviously. The stone of Atlantis. Dolphins are related to this, but it's kind of hard to find. And if you do find it, it's going to be a little more expensive than most stones. But I was able to find some good pieces. Mine is a kind of a sky blue with a hint of teal to it. Very hard to tell unless you compare it to other blue stones. But it has streaks of white, and you'll see those streaks of white kind of wispy like clouds rather than making you think of water. It'd be like a nice clear day with a light colored sky and clouds. Okay, Lapita, like I mentioned earlier, it's a form of mica. Iridescent, flaky, and flexible. There was a cemetery that was actually spitting out pieces of Lapita. It's pink. It's kind of like a pinkish purple thing. It says trust, but I find it's really, really good to heal heartbreak and rejection and anything related to the heart chakra. Even though it says third eye and crown, it definitely can help with heart chakra stuff. Again, it's flexible and delicate and can flake off, but it's kind of glittery, kind of iridescent. Really beautiful, soothing stone to have. It's just weird that cemetery seemed to just pop up big chunks of it, which I have a few raw pieces from there. Malachite, another one of those potentially toxic ones. It's got high copper content, so if you're handling it raw, please remember to wash your hands. If you're polishing it, if you're working with it, carving it, wear a mask. It's better to have polished pieces, and I have actually found some nice artificial malachite that does seem to have similar energy to the real thing, but it would be safe to handle. The energy's not quite the same. It's not as pure, not as powerful, but it would be a better option if you're going to give it to children, or if you have children or pets that might get into your stones and you want that energy. It's like the artificial sugar version of sugar kind of thing, except for it's not as powerful. But yeah, malachite's really great for heart chakra. It's green with black streaks in it. You can find it with more black to it, but it's like a green version of blue lace agate. It's stripes and swirls and that kind of stuff. It's really pretty, and it kind of, I forget what the scientific term is, but the way it forms, it looks like little bubbles here and there that form the streaks. So it's like nice rolling hills. Really nice to have. Nature, definitely nature vibe. So next is Moonstone, and what this one's actually showing, I believe, is the Rainbow Moonstone, which is technically a form of labradorite. There's two versions of Moonstone that I found. One is kind of like a pearly, semi-opaque, semi-translucent one, and that's more of the true Moonstone. But it's like a smooth version of like Selenite, if you know what Selenite looks like. And Selenite's got more like streaks and linear kind of formation. But Moonstone's got a little bit of iridescence to it. Kind of looks a little foggy. Like if you have really thick salt water, the way it looks. Like a dense kind of watery thing. Obviously moon cycles, duh. It's Moonstone. And crown chakra, very spiritual, very etheric, soothing, slightly mysterious kind of thing, and it's good for magic if you're into that. Obsidian, okay. There was a reader I watched that was talking about Obsidian, how if you wear it too long, it can kind of bring you down because it's too grounding. It depends on how sensitive you are. Obviously, this is a black stone for protection, root chakra. They used to make blades out of this. It can be very, very sharp, so please be careful, especially if you get a raw piece. It will chip off and can be razor sharp. It can be really, really sharp, so you can accidentally cut yourself. It is basically a form of glass, natural form glass from volcanoes. It also comes in a color that kind of looks like a darker version of like red jasper. It's like a deep reddish brown. So you can get it where it's streaked black and brown too. You can get a form that actually shows rainbow reflections. You can kind of see a little bit of that in that one. So when you put it under certain light, you can see it almost iridesces like labradorite, but it's obsidian. It just depends on the minerals in it. And that's really, really pretty. But it's harder to find the rainbow version. You can find the black version very easily. Oakenite, I love this stuff. I've actually had a chance to feel that in person. These guys that ran this stone store in Greenville, one of them ran up to me and just rubbed a piece of it against my cheek, and it's soft. It feels like an animal, not a stone. It legit feels like fur. But the thing is, if you touch it, the oils on your skin and all that other stuff will discolor it. It starts out fluffy white, but it'll turn like black and brown if you touch it too much. So even though it's really nice to feel like you can pet it, don't touch it because it'll change colors on you. But it's really, really, really hard to find and really expensive when you do find it. I would have loved to buy a piece of that, but it basically looks like a little, what are those things, pom-poms, like a sparkly kind of little craft pom-pom. Past life patterns, all chakras. I don't know, it's a very weird stone. But fluffy, like really fluffy. It's so soft. I'd be too tempted to pet mine. Okay, so Peridot. I believe the Leo August stone, often used for jewelry. As you can see, it's cut for gemstone. It's like a lime green. It can be a little bit darker, more of an olive green. Really great for heart chakra, and this is teachers. So like school starts at the end of August. Give it to a teacher. But it's a very bright, energetic stone. It helps you radiate love. It's really awesome. Pipestone, kind of a hard stone to find. It's like a pinkish kind of, you know, feels like terracotta. Very, very lightweight. They used to carve pipes out of this. That's why it's called Pipestone, the natives. Also known as Catlinite. Ancestors, root chakra. Also a little bit of sacral chakra. Depends on how it's cut. But it really, honestly, it looks like and feels like a very smooth terracotta. Almost slightly more burgundy for the piece that I got. It kind of feels soft to the touch when it's polished, but it also kind of feels delicate. But you can generally find it. It's not that easy to find, but it's not super hard to find, and it's not that expensive when you do. I should probably start showing off my actual stones. Priyanite. So this one kind of looks like jade, and kind of like Peridot. That's like a soft mint green, kind of foggy, translucent. Release, declutter, heart chakra. Like, good for cutting ties. I don't remember if I have a piece of that or not, so it's a little harder to find. So, you can work with other green stones. It's very similar, but it's got its own vibration, obviously. A gentler, kind of like a jade or other green stones. Rose quartz, the classic. Now this one's a lot brighter pink than most. It's usually a very soft pink. It's also one of the ones that will fade in sunlight. So you want to be sure if you're charging it up in sunlight, it's probably going to lose its color. If you want to retain the color, charge it up using like sea salt or moonlight. I'm sure most people know about rose quartz. It's great for love, heart chakra, self-love, especially self-love. Especially if you've been through a lot of shit. You want to get some rose quartz. Okay? You know a lot about rose quartz already. It's so common. Ruby. Rubies are usually an expensive stone for jewelry. Very deep red, kind of like a garnet, only more of a pinkish tone. Garnets can be more like a burgundy brown, orangey. Rubies are definitely leaning more towards the pinkish. It's kind of hard to tell unless you're comparing two side by side. Passion, root, and sacral chakras. And like I said, it can be really expensive. Genuine rubies, not cheap. And most of them are going to be cut for jewelry, okay? You can find ruby mixed in with other stones. Certain other, ruby and fuchsite is one. Ruby and zoisite, ruby in other forms within other stones. And you'll definitely see more of like a strawberry pink tone to it, and it almost looks opaque in that form because of what it's mixed with. So it's usually like pink and green kind of stuff. Not on the long lines of watermelon tourmaline, but a opaque pink and green. It's really pretty. It's a little less expensive than buying a ruby since most are cut for gems. But, yeah, great passion, root and sacral chakras, bright energy. I guess that's all I can say about that. Rutilated quartz, like I was talking about earlier. This has the gold streaks through it. Looks like golden hairs, like angel hair. Says home, but I'm thinking more angels, root chakra, and I'm thinking more crown chakra, because it's got higher vibration. It's really awesome. it's really pretty to find a piece of quartz that has this stuff in it. It honestly just looks like you've got some blonde angel hairs stuck in a piece of quartz. Very sparkly, very bright, very spiritual energy. Selenite. This stuff will dissolve in water. Okay? So be very careful. It's basically salt form. It is iridescent, and it's formed in these long, thin strands that are pretty solid together, but you can tell that there's lines in it. Peace, crown chakra, definitely the moon, Selene, you know, related to the moon. I have a huge crystal ball made out of this stuff, and it is so sensitive. It's a soft kind of a mineral. You have to be careful about bumping against stuff. It'll chip. It will split along the lines, and again, it will dissolve if you get it wet. Like if it's soaking in water, it's going to dissolve. You can kind of quickly wipe it off with a damp cloth, but you know, be real careful about humidity and that. But this is really great. It'll charge up other crystals for you. It'll absorb way more of the moon's energy, so you can use it through the month for cleansing and recharging stuff. They say it doesn't need cleansed or recharged itself. It just kind of holds that, but I mean, you can still cleanse and recharge it, but it's a wonderful, like, soft kind of a stone. Seraphinite, really hard to find. I have been able to find it. It kind of looks like really deep ocean. It's related to Seraphine, the angels. Honesty, heart and third eye chakra. Like I said, it kind of looks like deep ocean, very dark green, but a bit of iridescence to it, and the white patches kind of look like feathers or clouds. It's really beautiful energy, very spiritual, lovely stuff. Hard to find, kind of expensive, but I would definitely recommend it. Tiger's eye, animals, solar plexus chakra, also root chakra. This is hematite, and I forget what else. I believe it has asbestos in it, so you want to be careful. The natural form of asbestos. Be careful with the raw form. It comes in different colors. It's rare to find the red. I believe that's heat treated anyways. So it'd be red and gold and black and silver. You can also find a blue form, which is called Hawk's Eye, and that's kind of like a Scorpio stone. But all the versions of Tiger Eye are very protective, especially when it's more iridescent. So you'll have iridescence, and you'll have streaks of like the black or the silver kind of hematite stuff. Very natural kind of thing. Grounding. It's grounding and protective. I don't know what solar plexus is, sort of, but I would definitely say like root, grounding, protection. It's really excellent. And reflects the negative energy back, kind of absorbs it, dissipates it. Tourmaline, another one that is formed in like long streaks. It's kind of like the dark version of selenite, but tourmaline is definitely opaque. You can definitely tell it's tourmaline, especially when it's raw, because it looks like little bundles of black streaks. Now, tourmaline comes in other shades. Pink, green, watermelon is pink and green, blue is rare, but honestly, it can come in so many different shades of colors, and it's really expensive to get those other colors. Black tourmaline is so common. It's very good for protection. It'll like dissipate any negative energy. It really does absorb it. You want to keep it cleared. Good for smudging, just like sage, only you don't have to burn it. You can set it up to block EMF radiation. It's grounding, root chakra, but definitely the biggest thing is protection. So you want to get wands of Tourmaline and sometimes Selenite. Put it in a grid around your bed to block negative energies. Especially EMF radiation, you want to pair those up. Put it in a grid around your house to block any extra energies. And definitely around your bed so you can sleep without too much interference from electronics. Turquoise. Most turquoise out there is actually dyed howlite, and you can tell because it's a more bright, artificial looking like color. Like natural turquoise will turn more towards a green if you handle it a lot because of the oils in our fingers. No, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the dyed howlite version of it, which is more common. It has the energy that you desire from turquoise. It's very protective. It's good for like putting the stone in your car to be safe. Balance, throat and heart chakra. I see it more as a protective energy. Good for internet communication, protecting yourself in the car. Obviously it's very common for jewelry, but the real thing I feel is more powerful, more effective. But if all you can find is the dyed howlite, it does hold that energy of turquoise. It is one of the few artificial stones that will do that. So most of the man-made stuff just does not have the right energy. Kite, one of those green pink ones. Live in the present, heart chakra, very good for healing like trauma and anxiety. It's very, very light pinkish and like an olive green. You can find it where it's, mostly green, mostly pink, or a balance of the two. It's opaque. It's almost like a very pale salmon color, the pink part. It's not that hard to find. It's really, really good for clearing out negative energies and stuff. I gave a friend of mine a ring that I found that had that in it, and it's very helpful for her. Zebra stone. Can't remember what it is made of, but obviously black and white, balanced yin yang, protective and also soothing. It says compassion, root chakra, but I would say it balances your energy, all your chakras, protecting against negative energy and also bringing down spiritual energy. I don't believe I have that. I'm not sure. I have to check. And the last one is a very rare one. Hard to find. You're probably going to find it artificially made and not artificial where it's man-made, but it's made in industry. It's like an industrial manufacturing waste from, I forget what industry, where it'll just kind of form on the pipes. It's considered waste, but it is, it's a natural mineral forming. And it's hard to find it in nature just because of what it's made of and how hard it is to form. But if you can find a piece of it, it's really awesome. That bird is so annoying. I am so sorry. I'm almost done. This is the last one. But anyways, I have a piece of zincite. It was really expensive for the little tiny piece it is. Really awesome energy though. It's like the red version of like moldavite almost. is very fiery, very passionate, very strong, kick you in the ass kind of energy. Great for healing the physical body, especially if it's like fatigue or anything that's bringing you down. And it's root chakra. Kind of translucent, reddish orange. Absolutely beautiful. Unfortunately, it is in storage down south, so I can't show you. But this tiny, tiny, tiny little piece, like it would fit on a quarter, was pretty expensive, but absolutely 100% worth having. It's just kind of hard to find. Like, you're gonna have to look for it a bit, but it's absolutely wonderful energy to have. It's gorgeous. So any of you need to tap into that, you can really feel it even off the picture. If you're sensitive to that kind of thing, like this stuff will really make you sit up, take notice. You're gonna want to do stuff. Like, it will give you a renewed sense of wanting to do everything you've ever wanted, instead of being lazy or tired or uninspired. Like, it's an amazing stone, honestly. So hopefully I'll be able to get down to storage and pull this stuff, my actual stones. I only have a few up here that I've recently gotten. So that's your Eternal Crystals Oracle cards. If you want a reading done with these, you can contact me. All that information is going to be in the description. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful end of the weekend and start of your week.